So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my iPhone 12 mini unboxing and first impressions. Psych. iPhone 13 mini. You thought I didn't catch that? They just look so similar this year. That's why I wanted to go ahead and make that joke. But you could see right here, iPhone 13 mini on the left, iPhone 12 mini on the right, the box. They changed the back of it. You can see right there, it does show the back on that one and this one on the front, but you know, something about this year, it just seems so similar to last year. Like kind of like when it went from the 5S to the iPhone, or the iPhone 5 to the 5S, or when they went from the 6 to the 6S. That's kind of what this year kind of feels like right here. So you're going to get a similar box on that front. I do go to the product red version because it does contribute to the global fund for COVID-19. Now you can see right here, iPhone 13 mini, of course, is only going to include a USB-C cable in the box, no chargers, no headphones whatsoever. Let's go ahead and open this up. I did go with the base 128 gig model. That's a nice update this year. Apple did update to the 128 for the stock or the base model, so that's pretty good. You do get more storage, but this also comes with a new pink color as well. But this red is kind of new as well, because if you take a look at last year's red, some people thought that thing looked orange, so they heard your complaints, and now look how deep the red is. If you are into red, you probably are going to like this one a lot more. This will be the same color for the regular size 13 as well, but look at the deep red. I definitely like this so much more than last year's red. Not that I dislike this one. This one's fun. It's cute and all that. But this one right here, just a juicy deep red. So let's go ahead and take that off and go ahead and get this booted up. And again, you can get this in Starlight, you can get it in blue, and the blue is also a bit lighter this year. It's kind of like they did the opposite. The blue last year was darker. This year it's a bit lighter. You can see when you get the product red editions, you do get a product red that tells you where it goes. Usually it supports HIV and AIDS, but this year it's kind of going to COVID. So let's go over here, and you'll see right here we do have SIM card tool, iPhone, Apple sticker, the usual. If you see my unboxing for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, you would know it's basically the same, just a smaller box, a much smaller box. So right here you can see USB-C to lightning cable. So you probably don't need 1,000 more chargers to add to your collection. So I'm not upset with this box. All right, and as I did in my 13 Pro Max unboxing, I did skip out the setup process, basically the same as every year. Let's talk about what is noticeably different here. And I'm gonna have to use the 12 mini from last year to talk about this. Now you'll see right here, the camera bump did get a little bit different. It's a little bit wider, and the camera lenses themselves are a bit bigger. I'm not sure if the camera is showing that very well. Let me go ahead and put them closer like that. But these cameras are a bit bigger. They're also in a diagonal format. Some people might not like that. Some people might not care. These are in a vertical format. So Apple had to make them distinguishable, so they switched the cameras around. In addition, you'll see the bump looks a little bit thicker. The phone itself doesn't really feel that much heavier or thicker overall. I'll confirm the exact weights during the full comparison, but one of the majorly noticeable changes, I don't even know if that's a word, majorly, but whatever, you get what I'm saying. App Store right here, definitely let's go in here and we'll see the notch difference. Now, the notch is not that noticeably different for the average person, but when you're looking at the mini, you gotta get a sense of scale with these phones. These phones are smaller to hold, so you'll definitely notice the notch a bit more on the mini phones. So any reduction on the mini phones is a nice touch. But if you look at the bottom, basically the same phone. And again, I'll do a full comparison, but the mini doesn't change too much besides a diagonal camera, different colors, and you do have the reduced notch in terms of design. Now it starts at $699 for this phone, and it goes all the way up to $899. You can get a 512 gig in this little baby. So, and Apple might not keep this around depending on sales of this. So if you're into the small one-handed phones, I mean, to get a sense of scale, let's take a look at the 13 Pro Max. This is a tiny phone. If you're into small phones, you might want to get one this year with the 13 mini, or pick up the 12 mini at a reduced price because these might not be around forever. We'll have to see what happens next year. Now, I want to take a look at the wallpapers included with the 13 series, because we looked at the iPhone 13 Pro series earlier. You'll see they do have a pink wallpaper, but it doesn't look like we're getting, I don't know if this is supposed to be for the red. That's not really red, but it's kind of like another pink wallpaper. Doesn't look like we're getting much red action going on here for the iPhone 13 mini. I'll just put this one right here because it's the closest thing I would say that matches this device. But overall, I would say not the best overall wallpaper selection. I just like to cover that because I really like wallpapers and Apple does include a ton of them. Now, another thing that you might find a little bit disappointing about this compared to the 13 Pro series is it keeps the 60 Hertz display. Kind of a nice to have feature for a phone, but I don't think it's totally necessary to have it. It's just a nice to have, but it definitely feels far smoother than the 60 Hertz panel here. And this could be a letdown for some people, especially if you're going to the 512 gig and then you're going to pay almost $1,000 for this phone right here. Not quite, but close. Now this gets the Apple A15 Bionic chipset with 4 gigabytes of RAM. So the speed should be just fine. It might be a disappointment that we don't see 6 gigs of RAM here. I would like to see 6 gigs, then 8 gigs on the 13 Pro. But it doesn't seem that RAM management is a major issue. We've seen it in my speed test before. Apple does a really good job with that. But you know, it doesn't change. From last year, it's the same amount of RAM. 60 Hertz is noticeably not as smooth as the 120 Hertz as well. So let's take a look at these dual 12 megapixel cameras here for the iPhone 13 mini. Now, what's neat about this is you still get the cinematic video mode within the iPhone 13 and the 13 mini. So let's go ahead and demonstrate kind of what this does. It will recognize when something needs to be in focus. It'll be even more impressive when you are using people subjects. I'm just using a box here, but you'll see it'll know how to get that shallow depth of field automatically. And that's game changing because if you are taking a video and you don't know how to do all those, you know, f-stops and stuff like that, you'll definitely be able to do it really easy here. You can just kind of tweak it down. The lower you go, the more blur in the background. The higher you go, the less blur. And it'll do this stuff automatically. So that's a big update. Also, in the camera, you'll see you have an ultra wide and you could zoom the same 5x. So no major update right there. In addition, you will have these different filter modes. You can go standard, rich contrast, vibrant. It's still going to be a boss little camera right here. Front-facing camera should be pretty good as well. 4K 60 on both front and rear cameras. So this thing can definitely give you some high quality video in a phone that's that small. It fits in your palm like that. So that's what's always been impressive about the mini. Now, what's a big deal here is Apple is claiming this iPhone 13 mini, due to a larger battery, can hit an hour and a half better battery life. Now, to me, that's still not super impressive, but it's better than this because the iPhone 12 mini was pretty terrible at battery life. It could get through a day with, you know, if you're monitoring your usage and moderate usage, you could get through a day with the iPhone 12 mini. But if you start using the camera, you start texting all day, you're using social, half the day, your battery is almost done. With the iPhone 13 mini, you're going to be able to stretch that a little bit further. And if you waited it out, this is the better one to pick up. If you already have the 12 mini, I'm not so sure I would do the upgrade, you know, unless you really just love the mini and you have to have that better battery life because the rest of the phone is quite similar. What's really cool about this phone is it can hit a peak brightness of 1200 nits. That's insane for a phone this size. 1200 nits of peak brightness? What? On a phone that's 5.4 inches? That's pretty impressive. And so the software that ships out of the box is iOS 15. However, I do want to state that you will be getting, you know, a little security patch right out of the box. So go ahead and get that done when you get your iPhone. iPhone storage, they use about 15 gigs out of the 128 gigs on this phone. So do keep that in mind. It's not a full 128 gigs, but it's still pretty good. And so you have a faster chip, a slightly improved battery life, slightly better cameras, different diagonal cameras versus vertical, a smaller notch. This is a refined iPhone 12 mini. That's all this is. iPhone 13 is a refined iPhone 12 mini. That is my first impressions. I don't think it's going to change in my review. I'm still going to fully review it because I can't just give you a full review within 5 minutes of opening this phone up. But it's a refined 12 mini. It's addressing some of the complaints, but not totally overhauling every single complaint of the 12 mini, but definitely step in the right direction. If they keep this model around, I think it will get better. Now, I want to take a look at some phones that you might want to compare to this device right here. Here's your iPhone SE 2020. You can see major difference there, much better display, a deeper red than the product red on the iPhone SE 2020, and a smaller body. Definitely thinner, I think, on the iPhone SE, but smaller body, a little bit shorter there for the iPhone 13 mini. Let's take a look at the iPhone SE, the original. So if you've been holding on to this thing, I don't know why you would still be using this right now, but if you have, This is a very similar design, a little bit taller, definitely a little bit wider, but similar type of phone right here in the iPhone 13 mini. And then of course, the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I'm getting the 13 and 13 Pro later, so I'll compare those soon. But you can see right here a monster change to go to a mini phone from a large phone. So overall, if you're looking for a small iPhone, you want all of the latest features, the iPhone 13 mini is for you. You want the cheapest price 13. The 13 mini is for you. You're tired of the large phone, your hands cramping, you want this phone right here. You want a discrete camera package that's still almost professional mobile style camera. The mini has got you covered. You want more storage, you want better battery life over your 12 mini, trade it in. The 13 mini's got you covered. You're a fan of these smaller phones, the 13 mini's got you covered. You get the drift. It's a really decent mini phone. It's the best small phone you can buy right now. Like when it comes to these type size phones, it's the best on the market right here. That's it for me for the product red iPhone 13 mini. Let me know your thoughts on it. What do you want to see compared to this one down below in the comment section of this video? If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, go ahead and click that like button for me. Subscribe for more. I have many more iPhone 13 videos coming your way. Thank you very much for watching and all your support. I will catch you all in the very next episode. Be sure to be well. Nick here, and peace.